This is ABC15 Mornings.
How you doing on this Thursday? We are so happy that you're waking up with us here at ABC15 Mornings. I'm Kaylee O'Kelly here in studio. Our Nick Sleddy, social distancing, and he is in the newsroom this morning.
I like that. How you doing this morning? It's
How
Thursday.
you doing?
It's Friday Eve, as we like to call it here, and a lot of news to get to today. But first, I want to check in with meteorologist Iris Hermosillo, who is social distancing from home today, and she's got a look at that most accurate forecast for us. Hey, Iris.
And I think you're going to like what you feel when you step outside here this morning. We're waking up to clear skies, a little bit of a haze out there, especially as you look to the north, thanks to wildfires burning to our west and to our north and in eastern Arizona. But no air quality impacts here at the surface in the valley. Instead, get outside and enjoy these temperatures. Look at Phoenix, down to 83 degrees. We haven't been that cool in at least a couple of weeks. Temperatures in the mid 70s right now in Chandler, low 80s in Mesa. We're at 80 degrees in Glendale and Goodyear. You're checking in at 77 degrees. A pleasant morning overall, but we're going to heat back up into the triple digits again today. We'll likely see those first hundreds of the day by around 11 o'clock. So get out this morning, enjoy the weather while you can, then look for a high today of 109. It looks like we'll stay just shy of 110 this afternoon with sunny skies and some breezes. But we've got new heat alerts that have been issued in anticipation of a hotter weekend again. I'll show you those in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Iris. I'm watching the accident log group traffic maps to help you navigate your morning. Right now, things look good overall. We're seeing a lot of green out there, typical for this time of day. So we'll take it. North Valley, I-17, Carefree Highway, the 303, all looking good. West side of town, I-10, not too many breaks actually before you get to the stack. Tiny bit of yellow popping up there. I-17 southbound around the Durango curve, also just seeing a higher volume of traffic, but not much slowing. If you travel surface street level through Scottsdale, Shea Boulevard is closed east and westbound between 130th and 124th Streets because of a crash involving a pedestrian. You need to use Via Linda to get by. There really are not many other options there, as Shea is kind of the street that continues on and the rest just kind of stop. If you travel in US 60 westbound at Kings Ranch Road, there's still a little bit of a restriction there. A couple lanes were blocked earlier this morning for a crash, but it's in the clearing stages. And overall, the rest of your East Valley commute looks pretty great. And desert drive times, I'm going to show you those in just a few minutes.
We'll take pretty great on a Thursday morning, Chelsea. Thank you. Just trying to get our kids back to school, right? Parents, we are juggling so much. We're trying to work to pay the bills, trying to help with teaching when it comes to our kids, and keep a close eye on their education. But there is an added concern this morning, and that is safety when it comes to learning virtually. Our John Genovese joining us live this morning, and as we start this new norm for back to school, John, there are already internet security concerns. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Kaylee. Concerns and disturbing situations popping up. In this case from yesterday, sexually explicit videos overtaking the screen for some students in surprise. And we know things like this have been a concern since the spring. In some cases, they are students causing the issues, but in others, strangers are actually managing to find their way into these online meeting rooms. Now, in this case, this happening during a class through Legacy Traditional School. It involved a class that was being taught, we're told, through Google Hangouts and was not password protected. Now, parents say around 60 middle schoolers were in their second day of class when the videos started filling the screen. The teacher was eventually able to end the session. And a school spokesperson telling us this was not an outside hack. Instead, a student created a fake email and tricked the teacher into letting them into the online meeting room. Now, experts we talked with say this could have easily been avoided with some of the safety and security tools that are out there. And some parents are wondering why those safeguards weren't already in place.
Don't want to fault the school, but it is kind of their fault for not thinking ahead. They've had all summer to do it, and they haven't done it yet. And now the kids have seen things that they can't unsee.
And parents telling us there were also lewd and explicit comments being shared in a chat room that was attached to that online classroom environment. Now, Legacy also saying they take this situation extremely seriously. They say their online learning will continue today with added cybersecurity measures in place. Kaylee.
All right, our John Genovese live for us on the west side of town. We appreciate that report. New for you this morning as well, another Valley School District delaying the start of in-person learning as school leaders wait for the state to release these health benchmarks for reopening schools. Tempe Union High School District voting to delay in-person learning until October 2nd, and that would be at the earliest. Chandler Unified won't be reopening schools until the middle of October. Their board also voting on this. Last night, they moved up their meeting. The district will only open for in-person learning if they meet state guidelines, which are expected to be released by tomorrow. Officials will revisit the decision next month.
Well, as families and teachers wait to hear what's next for the school year, some are struggling to deal with all the uncertainty. We spoke with parents on opposite ends of the valley who say they understand the safety concerns, but they were banking on kids being able to go back to school this month.
No, it's the schools trying to make the decision what's safest for the teachers and the children, but it's also not my employer's worry or responsibility to worry about my childcare issues, but it puts the parents in an awkward situation too.
Even for short term, it's going to be tough. You know, like I work at a place where I have to be there. I can't work from home. I don't have that option.
More schools announce their decisions for this school year. We are keeping track of these plans for you. So just go to abc15.com/schools to find your district.
This is a big story. The Arizona Interscholastic Association just announcing the fall calendar for high school athletics. I know so many people have been waiting for this. It is subject to change, by the way, as local and state officials continue to track this pandemic. But as it stands now, golf will start practicing first on August 17th, followed by cross country, swimming, badminton, soccer, and volleyball. Also, football practice starts September 7th. Games will begin between the 30th and October 3rd. Dozens of medical providers are calling on our state's top public health director to step down. The letter sent to Governor Doug Ducey pushing for Dr. Kara Christ to step down, saying that she has failed in several areas like COVID-19 testing and contact tracing. The governor is in our nation's capital right now, yesterday sitting down with President Trump to talk about Arizona's COVID-19 response. Today, he will meet with the Council of Governors and other health officials.
The White House says President Trump is prepared to take executive action if lawmakers can't come to an agreement by tomorrow on the next coronavirus relief package. The president's chief of staff says he will make sure eviction protections are taken care of and extend the enhanced unemployment payments that expired last month. Leaders from both parties have been meeting all week to try and reach a deal. Well, just out this morning, 1.2 million Americans filed for unemployment last week. It's the lowest one-week total since the pandemic began. But Labor Department officials report over 50 million Americans have filed just in the past 5 months.
So we know that COVID-19 attacks the lungs. During this pandemic, we've learned tobacco can make people even more susceptible. Mark Thompson live this morning. And Mark, one Phoenix council member is ready to ban the sale of flavored tobacco products. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, Kaylee. And a Phoenix council member, Michael Nowakowski, says that he wants to create an ordinance that will protect teenagers and young adults in Phoenix. Now, recent studies have shown that smokers are more likely to suffer severe symptoms from the coronavirus because they already have damaged lungs. Over the past few years, e-cigarettes have grown in popularity, and Nowakowski wants an ordinance to ban flavored tobacco and menthol cigarettes. He says that he sees too many children under the age of 18 using these dangerous products.
Being a parent of 6 children, and when you go out to high school events, you see young kids that are vaping, and you see they're using these different flavors, and that's attracting them. And then what's really scary is then I go to my kids' junior high games, and you see junior high kids, these little kids out there vaping.
And we know that tobacco use and vaping use decreases the defenses of the lungs to all these things. So in the concept of trying to reduce injury from COVID, I think it would be very important to stop smoking or using any sort of e-cigarette or vaping product.
Yeah, remember the big vaping crisis before the pandemic began? Well, Nowakowski says he wants to introduce an ordinance to the full council. He's been on the council for a decade and is up for re-election in November. Reporting live this morning, Mark Thompson, ABC 15 Arizona. Back to you.
Okay, Mark, thank you. It's almost 10 minutes past the hour. Chandler police making an arrest in a cold case from back in 1991. Investigators identifying Gary Young as a man who kidnapped a woman at gunpoint and sexually assaulted her. Police releasing a sketch, there it is, after the attack, but no arrest was ever made. We're told they used genetic genealogy, I should say, to match DNA from the crime scene to Young. More than 200 rabbits removed from a home in Gilbert, found in horrible conditions near Gilbert and Warner. The Humane Society removing rabbits from that same home last year, you might remember. Police say the owner, Jed Judd, could face some new charges too. He is set to appear in court next week in connection to last year's raid. And we're told the process takes so long because officials have to evaluate each and every animal and then send a report for each one of them to police.
Well, what's being done to stop the fraud attempts on the state's pandemic unemployment assistance program? New this morning, the Let Joe Know team looks at scammers applying with your name and using your bank account.
Plus, here's a question for you. Is it the flu or is it the coronavirus? The symptoms you should be on the lookout for as we prepare for flu season amid this pandemic.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
Welcome back, everybody. We've made it to Friday Eve. We are almost there. The weekend's in sight. Maybe some of you are starting your weekend right now. And if you are and you're planning to travel anywhere, our Valley freeways look pretty good. North Valley, pretty quiet if you're planning to head up north. Just beware that I-17 closer to Bloody Basin Road. You may still see some smoke in the area, but no lanes are blocked northbound or southbound. If you're traveling from the west side of town, I-10, barely any slowing as you're approaching the stack or the mini stack so far this morning. I keep telling you about this closure that's Surface Street level at Shea Boulevard through Scottsdale between 130th and 124th Streets. So if you need to get by, Via Linda is going to be a good alternate for you to get right back onto Shea. And then East Valley overall is pretty quiet. We still have this crash that's in the clearing stages for US 60 westbound at Kings Ranch Road, mostly in the intersection, not on the main lanes of US 60, but it's just as you're connecting onto the freeway there. So just be careful. But otherwise, green flow still. Same for the rest of your East Valley commute. And desert drive times that I promised you, all below average for this time of day. Take a look at our ADOT camera real quick. This is Loop 202, Red Mountain, if you're traveling closer to Scottsdale, McClintock, through Tempe. Just a reminder that Rio Salado Parkway is still closed between Priest and Ash at this point.
All right, thank you, Chelsea. Hey, I want to start off by giving you a brand new update just coming in, the drought update for our state. I'm going to start off by showing you what it looked like last week, because last week we saw an update to that drought, and I showed you that our drought has increased to nearly 50%. That was as of last week. That covers portions of the valley too. Here's today's update. We are now talking nearly 82% of our state under some sort of drought, and that does include the valley. So we're talking moderate to severe drought that you're seeing here. And notice for the valley, for the Phoenix area, we're now officially in that severe drought mode. So not what we want to see at all, but the lack of rain this monsoon has contributed to these quickly expanding drought conditions. Just 3 months ago, most of Arizona was drought free. So a significant difference. And again, this update just coming in this morning, and unfortunately it's going to worsen if we don't get any rain. And I'm not seeing any significant rain chances anytime soon for us. In fact, as you look at Futurecast for today, we're going to stay dry again in the valley with just a slight chance for thunderstorms in southeast Arizona. And that's going to continue to be the trend through the end of the week and into the weekend too. Even northern Arizona is staying dry today and through the weekend. So spots like Flagstaff that typically see a little bit more activity than we do here in the valley, not seeing any rain for them either. Now, as we talk temperatures, as you're getting ready to maybe step outside here on this Thursday morning, we are looking at clear conditions, a little bit of a haze out there. That haze due to some wildfire smoke that's still sitting higher up in the atmosphere. But if you are going to step outside, you're going to enjoy some gorgeous temperatures. And again, air quality here at the surface still in the green to yellow range, which is good to moderate. Our temperature has dropped as low as 83 degrees this morning. So that certainly is a nice change. The record still stands. We did not set a record for the warmest low temperature on the state. That's the good news there. And it looks like this afternoon we may also dodge the record for the most 110 plus days in a single year. So far, we're at 32 days. The record is 33 days. Today, we're going to be close, but it looks like we may stay just below 110. So temperatures this morning running quite a bit cooler than they were 24 hours ago. scenario in the valley and across most of Arizona. Phoenix checking in at 83. We're down into the low 40s at the Grand Canyon and in Flagstaff, upper 50s in Heber, and low 60s in Payson right now. And check out all of those 70s across the valley. If you want to get outside for a walk around the neighborhood, this is the morning to do it. 76 right now in Chandler and in Gilbert. But enjoy the morning, because by around 11 a.m., the hundreds are back. And then today, again, look for a high of 109 with some afternoon breezes setting in again like yesterday, sustained between about 5 and 15 miles an hour. Highs today right around 109 across our valley cities. To our west, a little cooler, 105 at Lake Havasu, 106 in Bullhead City, and mid-90s in Sedona. Now today 109, tomorrow 109, but then we heat back up. And this weekend we're talking highs at 111 to 112 with new excessive heat watches that go into effect Sunday and remain in effect through Monday, guys.
Okay, Iris, thank you. Let's get to your top stories. Happening this morning, investigators are searching through the wreckage of Beirut's port, looking for clues to the cause of that massive and deadly explosion that left 250,000 people homeless. Officials at the port are under house arrest this morning until authorities determine who exactly is to blame. Today, President Donald Trump will head to Ohio to tour a Whirlpool plant. He's expected to speak about efforts to boost U.S. manufacturing and American-made products. The factory hired more workers after a Trump administration tariff made importing foreign washing machines more expensive. It's deadline day for NFL players who want to opt out of the 2020 season because of the pandemic. Over 36 players have already chosen to sit out, including Marcus Gilbert from the Arizona Cardinals.
Well, for weeks, the Rebound Arizona team highlighting delays and unresolved issues, all tied to Arizona's pandemic unemployment assistance program. So all new for you this morning, we have a closer look at fake claims, what's being done to sort them out, and some help for those of you who are just trying to file. Here's Joe Ducey.
I have kids, I have daycare that needs to be paid, I have food, I have bills.
Mom of two, Nicole has been out of work since March. COVID-19 making her job as a process server impossible. Courts were closed and knocking on doors was not an option. So after using her last paycheck on bills, she tried applying for pandemic unemployment assistance.
We logged in and it said there was an account already that matched my social.
It appears Nicole's name and personal information was used by scammers to apply for insurance pay using their bank account information. But Nicole says when the bank account information was flagged, she wasn't notified.
I filed the report, I called, I reported it, I did everything. I probably sent 3 or 4 different emails to the fraud department and then on the AZUI website.
Her concern now? Finding a way to clear up the situation and get the benefits needed to put groceries on the table. She says a DES rep reset the fraudulent account, giving her access, but she's not even sure she should be logging in, let alone using it to file her weekly claims.
It's been 3 weeks. What am I supposed to do in the meantime? I can't survive.
Nicole says she's done what she can, just waiting to find out what she needs to do to prove who she really is. For the Rebound Arizona, I'm Joe Ducey. If you got a problem, let me know.
All right, Joe, thank you for that. And we did reach out to DES asking what can be done in Nicole's case and for really anyone else who might actually be trying to apply but have had their information stolen. They did not respond by our deadline, but we will keep looking into this for you.
Well, you're not imagining it. Your grocery bill is actually a lot higher right now. Prices are spiking at supermarkets. From February to June, meat and poultry prices rose more than 10%. Beef prices recorded the highest climb, spiking 20%. People are paying more for other staples, too, like eggs. They're up 10%. Cereal and fresh veggies are up 4%.
How about a new way of thinking here? Movie theaters in Arizona, as you know, they are still closed. So Harkins Theaters, they're moving business outside. There will be a pop-up drive-in this weekend at Harkins Chandler Fashion 20.
Yeah, it's like a throwback Thursday. Admission is $35, plus you'll get a big party popcorn and 2 drinks. Friday, you can watch Black Panther. On Saturday and Sunday, you can catch The Empire Strikes Back, 2 good movies.
Yeah, excellent. All right, it's 6:21. Adapting to these new norms. As kids are learning from home, what does this mean for those of us who are parents? How your mental health could be a part of your child's success.
Welcome back. New concerns this morning about how the flu season is going to change because of COVID-19. Doctors are worried it could cause an added strain on the healthcare system that's already seen a lot. There's some mixed thoughts about when people should get the flu vaccine. If you get it earlier, you'll get protection earlier, but its effectiveness goes away before the flu season ends. Typically, doctors recommend getting your flu shot in October. There's also concerns people may mix up flu and COVID symptoms, so experts say to look for one key symptom.
The loss of smell which is common in coronavirus, is not really a common phenomenon in a lot of other respiratory viruses.
Doctors are hoping with people wearing masks and social distancing that flu cases will be low this season.
Okay, so Valley families, a lot of us adjusting to life with remote learning, right? But one Gilbert family has an added challenge. The Hirsch family, they've adopted 12 kids, ranging from 4 to 14 years old, and they are in 4 different schools with more than 24 teachers. Their mom, Kate, is telling us the first day started rough. Kids couldn't log on, and they were having internet connection issues.
To us, like, this is just our normal. This is our family. We're big, we're loud, but there's nothing different about us from anybody else that has, 2 kids and trying to do this. We're all working hard, and all we can do is do our best.
And Kate, good for her, by the way. My goodness, she's telling us that she's hopeful that things will get easier. You have to love her attitude, Nick.
Oh yeah, right? A good attitude takes you far. It's back to school time, and educators can score free donuts and free coffee.
Yes, next week is Educator Appreciation Week. Krispy Kreme giving back too with some free donuts and coffee for our teachers.
Yeah, they earned it this year and every year. On top of that, Krispy Kreme will also give everybody who orders a dozen donuts an extra special straight A dozen on Tuesday of next week. Check them out. Thank you, Krispy Kreme. Next at 6:30, TikTok, one of the most popular apps being used by teens and adults, but it could be banned from the U.S. So what about its competitors? Are those apps safe for your kids?